Let's talk about the movie M3gan and why she may have made certain choices in the film. Also, this is your trigger warning. I'm about to cover a horror movie and there will be talk of fictional death and violence. Enjoy! Hello friends and family members! This is the Fangirl, and I'm your hostess M3gan. Spelled the same way, however pronounced differently from M3gan. Anyways, the gist of M3gan is that a robotic toy maker named Gemma has designed the luxury car of personalized electronic toys. And that is a companion doll that will basically do all of the parenting for you. Right down to reminding your child to flush the toilet. We all know some adults who could use that reminder too, don't we? M3gan can read body language, she can function as a bodyguard, and she's very good at dealing with complex emotional trauma. However, for reasons not well covered in the film, M3gan ends up with a level of sentience that defies the laws of robotics, and she will do anything to keep her primary user, 8-year-old Katie, happy. And while the movie touches on some very important social issues, like issues involving screen time, addiction, and just simply pulling your weight and trying as a parental figure, the writers decide to abandon all of that 2/3 of the way through the film, and instead, the big doll goes on several killing sprees for no definable reason. Like, there's a dog that bites Katie, and M3gan disappears that bad boy, and that makes logical sense. Here is a creature that hurt her primary user, M3gan defended her and stopped the problem from reoccurring. I can see where that process went from start to finish. However, towards the end, M3gan commits 2 acts of aggression, one that ends Gemma's boss, and the other that ends this rando, barely disgruntled worker that we see several times. And neither of those men were threatening M3gan or her objectives. Those deaths were so gratuitous. And I fully understand that a PG-13 horror movie has one real purpose: to sell movie tickets to teenagers who can't get into R-rated films alone. So movies like this have to pull the punches. And since the primary audience are teens, they often don't worry if the final film makes a lot of sense. But there was so much that didn't add up in this movie, and it could have used another 5 minutes of explanation on screen. For example, even if M3gan was lacking in parental controls, how did the no killy kill parameters not automatically get installed? I'm even fully okay with accepting an iRobot style explanation where the machines just logicked out that humans need to be contained just so that they will stop messing up the world. Like the maid going, "Can we keep the kitchen clean for 5 minutes?" But we don't get any moments of M3gan reflecting on these matters and drawing a similar conclusion. She just flips a switch in her head and does things for no good reason. Almost like she has the petty mind of a petulant child, which, again, doesn't make sense for a robot to have. Although, I will give credit that there is a quick conversation in the film that I think is more enlightening than it seems. When M3gan escapes being shut down at the office and comes back to Gemma's house, M3gan is furious, and she starts chastising Gemma about abandoning her and how they used to be like best friends who stayed up all night talking to each other during the early programming days. And while young Katie is the primary user for M3gan, Gemma is the secondary and only other user for M3gan, which to me seems to imply that M3gan bonded to Gemma in a way similar to the artificial intelligence film. You know, had AI been from a horror movie perspective. Although it kind of still is when you take a step back and look at that film. Anyways, so this makes me wonder if M3gan's last 2 kills, which were Gemma's boss David, who threatened the M3gan project and Gemma's job repeatedly, and this random worker drone guy who may have been stealing and selling Gemma's intellectual property. I wonder if M3gan removed those 2 from the land of the living for reasons other than they were in the way at that exact moment. Meaning M3gan was very bonded with Gemma and may have made those extra kills for a purpose. M3gan was not like a squip in Be More Chill, so her goal was not not to reproduce her electronic brain a million times and take over the world. Megan's only directives were to take care of her user, or users in this case. So if you are tapped into the network where you can hear all of your secondary users' phone calls and read their emails and even know how they're feeling from the look on their face, and your motivation is to fix that for your user and make their life as pleasant as possible, you're going to do what you can to remove those bad people from your user's life. For example, the dog hurt Katie, and the classmate who dies wasn't technically Megan's fault since he fell, but even that was an act of protection from Megan's standpoint. But what about the older lady next door that kept calling the police? That didn't impact Katie, really. It was a threat and aggravation to Gemma, so Megan removed the problem person. The same thing with Bossman David and the random employee. They were no threat to Katie, and they were not even trying to stop Megan from doing whatever she wanted, but they were people causing problems for Gemma, so they had to go. Then Megan marched away and grabbed a car without hurting anyone else because there was no one else there who was upsetting either of Megan's users. Megan was just a little too much of a mama bear. Even at the end, Megan doesn't try to hurt Gemma until Gemma refuses to let Megan back into the family. Gemma is standing between Megan and her primary user, and that's when Gemma becomes the enemy. But that's also because Katie and Gemma are definitively ranked as users 1 and 2 respectively. So what Katie wants wins out over what Gemma wants. And when you look at the movie in that context, things make a lot more sense. That being said though, I realize that a Megan sequel has already been greenlit, and I really hope that that will give the writers more room to tackle some of these bigger issues that ended up getting lost in the horror shuffle of the first film. But what did you think of Megan? Did it deliver? Or would you send this one back to the factory? Let me know in the comments. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun. Yeah. Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, "Hey M3gan, I want to mail you something. How do I do that?" Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share 1 or 2 on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.